Okay, I'm going to try my best here to take a video with my hand. I don't have the fancy dot cam this time, which means I'm holding my phone up with one hand and trying to write with the other. So we're going to work through number 8. And we're going to be writing systems of equations / inequalities. So just like a quick refresher, an equation means we're writing like expressions with equal signs, and inequalities means I'm having like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So let's work through number 8. It looks like based off my answer choices that we just want the actual inequalities, not the answers. So a record collector is looking to buy records that cost either $20 or $35 each. Okay, so based on that, it looks like we have 2 records. Notice how I'm going to be annotating as I read this example. You need to be able to do the same. Let A, okay, so we have a variable A, be the number of $20 records. Okay, so A is like the number of records that are $20. So I'm going to just make a little note there. And B, okay, so B is another variable, be the number of $35 records. Okay, so B is like the number of them, so it's a number. So B, number of $35. Okay, then it says the collector can buy a maximum, okay, so that's like telling me an inequality, of 25 records. So 25 records is going to be my max records. Notice I'm just writing this down. Then, and can spend up to $750. So up to $750 tells me, okay, I can spend $750, not more. So $750 max is my dollars. Then it says, which of the following systems of inequalities accurately describes this relationship? So just to kind of rephrase, A is talking about the number of records that are $20. And then B is the number, so not like the cost, but the number of records that cost $35. So we have like A records and B records. Okay, it looks like I have really only 2 inequalities to write because I have 2 things that include those keywords like max, which is telling me like an inequality. So let's look at the first piece of information. I have 25, like the maximum number of records I can have is 25. That's the number, not the cost. So A and B are specifically talking about just the number of records I can have. And I know that I can have a max of 25. So that means if I were to add A and B together, then I know that I don't want them to be necessarily like equals 25 because I'm using inequalities. If 25 is my maximum, that means that A plus B needs to be less than, or I can have 25 records. That's okay. It says 25 records can be the maximum. So it can be 25. I just don't want it to be more than 25. So that's one inequality. I can already look at my answer choices and notice that on F and G, they put A plus B is less than 750. But if I'm looking back at my problem, 750 was like a dollar amount, not necessarily a quantity, meaning like the number of records. That's telling me how much I can spend. But A and B are just talking about the number, not actually how much total money we spent on A records. So I can automatically eliminate F and G. Okay, so let's look at the second piece of information is I have a total amount that I can spend. So that's when I want to actually include the costs. So if I'm thinking about this back into the problem, A is the number of $20 records. So that means that every record I buy that's like an A record, it's going to cost me $20. So if I buy 2 records of A, I'm going to have $40 that I spent. So really for every A that I'm spending, I'm going to be like multiplying it by $20. Because A, we remember, is the number of $20 records. So if I buy 2 or 3, I'm going to multiply that by $20 so I know how much I spent. The same thing can be said for B, but B, every record that's a B record is $35. Okay, so this, if I like add this together, then I know that this is going to give me like my total amount. Notice that I have these dollar signs now. So now I'm going to know my amount. I again want 750 to be the max amount I spend. So when I add up the total number I spent, like on however many A's and B's, I want that to be less than or equal to $750. So notice how my dollar signs are all in the same one, and this A plus B is just the quantity. So if I look back at my answer choices, H, it looks like they're dividing A by 20. That's telling me that like that's not going to multiply $20 for every record that I buy. So J is going to be my right answer.